basically behind most of this stuff. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, people like you, people like me feel feelings very intensely, and we act on them. But the root of it, across the board, basically, is that fear of abandonment, because we do feel so intensely. And real or perceived, it's just like if you're actually in a relationship and the person you know the fucker's gonna leave, it's like, well, fuck you then. You know? And I felt you pulling away and pulling away and pulling away, and I was like, look, I can't be your fucking toy anymore, and all this, and then it just fed into each other, whatever. Like I said, I think I have these tendencies, but I think I'm more codependent, which just means I find my value in my relationships with other people. I think there's like 3 types of coaches. There's coaches that are narcissists. They're doing it to, I'm the best, I'm a coach, I'm bossing these people around, I'm winning games. There's coaches that are really interested in just helping other people, and because those other people fill their lives and they make them feel full, important, make them feel whole. And then there's the other coaches that just had to get the job because whatever, nobody else will coach or whatever it is. Okay, the other one I skipped. 1, 2, 3. Is identity disturbance. Now, I mean, the reason I skipped this one is because a lot of people take it like the wrong way, like it's some terrible thing, but it's just like not really knowing who you are. And especially in your situation where you met your husband at 16, you're married at 19, that's not necessarily a bad thing like biologically, but we don't, this culture, it doesn't support it, and it's like, who am I? You know, especially if I lose these people, who am I? Because we make other people part of our identity, you know. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. And there's a lot of fucking shrinks out there that are going to say, oh, you got to be a whole person among yourself. Well, you know, that's kind of our biological drives are. That's why we mate, pair, and everything like that. But the thing is, when we don't really know or like ourselves or have a true identity of who we are, not saying as whole without another person, but so I mean, this is like I remember, and this is one thing I could relate completely with you, because I remember I was in the pizza joint and the lady wanted to say my name louder, and I'm like, I don't like to say my name, especially don't like to say it loud. I don't know what it is why I don't like my name. I remember you sent me a text with my name on it, and you're like, I love seeing this. Or not a text, a screenshot. I love seeing this. And I'm like, okay. Made me feel better about my name, but I still don't want to shout it at a pizza place. And I remember you telling me that you don't like it when people call you Alicia. You feel like it's bad. You're being chastised or something. So, and I know your mother, this one can look like DID, because people can look like different people at different times. You know, it's not DID. I do it. I do it sometimes. I go, well, whatever. I'll be, when I'm coach, I'm coach. I'm with you, I act differently. Not everybody acts differently around different people, but whatever. There's a sense of who am I in this world, and definitely gotten that from you. Who am I in this world? And I know we have to get that from ourselves. I realize we have to get who am I from ourselves. My whole point about not being whole isn't that whole thing, right? I think that's one of the problems these shrinks make, but that's not really important right now. But I definitely think there's an identity thing there, like are you, and the way we get our identity here, because we're an industrial society, is like, well, do you get your identity from your job? Well, am I a person a cashier who Hanson's who makes subs? Am I a nurse or whatever you're doing, in that thing? Or am I cleaning houses? Or am I a waitress? Or am I a mother? Am I a wife? Am I this person's boyfriend? But the thing is, you have to know who you are, and I think part of that kind of made it hard for us because I always had to be a secret. It's like, no, this is who I am, and this is who I want to be with. And I'm talking about the time. I'm not talking about from here to the future. I'm just talking about at the time. Okay, the ninth one. And this one, I want it to get, like, I'm calling you crazy, but you've had, like, instances where things get a little crazy. Transient, which means, transient just means it's not permanent, right? It's not permanent. You're not permanently in this state of mind. Stress-induced. So it's stress that induces it. That's important. Transient, stress-induced. It's temporary, and it's induced by stress. Paranoid ideation. Or other psychotic. I'm not calling it psycho. This transient symptomology and how it presents. Or dissociative. Dissociative symptoms. So this would be like, okay, I'm just going to give you my example, right? And again, I think I brought up before, like that night where I said, well, 1 o'clock is the time it closes, and you just freaked out. I was like, you freaked out on me, and freaked out that I'm like, I'm just telling you. And there's a better example. Like as far as the paranoia, like the paranoid ideation, when you're sitting on your sitting out the window looking out. Oh, is that the car? Is that the car? He's gonna come in, and this one's after me, and this one, and everybody's against me. Everybody in town's against me. And I know that fucker is doing that shit, but there were certain, like, almost paranoid times. I get this, I was paranoid yesterday. Not terribly, but I was paranoid yesterday. A lot of times, it could also be like you, like, change personalities, and it's like you're, like almost a little girl or something. And the thing is, it's transient. It's not a dissociative identity. It can look like it. And these are the times where, like, if you're arrested or gotten, caught by some put in some medical institution where they can actually look and say, well, you look like you're psychotic, or you look like you're paranoid, or you look like you're, there's something wrong with you terribly. But it's transient. It's stress induced. It's because of what's going on at the time, and things don't make sense. So some of the comorbidities for this, I can't read the second one. Anxiety, yeah. So I'll write at the bottom, these are things that happen during this, and things that can be confused with it. One is depression, okay? One is anxiety. I don't think either one of us have to say we haven't dealt with that, right? It could be spending a lot of money, substance abuse. And again, I saw a really good video one time on this, and it's like, it's not because you're a bad person, or I'm a bad person, or anybody's a bad person that displays these behaviors. It's more or less, we feel more than other people, right? It's just not, we don't control it as well. We feel so intensely. We're probably some of the best people. And so these things like this is obvious why this would happen. With these behaviors, shit's gonna go wrong in your life, and you're gonna get depressed. And another thing I saw was, like, here's the thing: normal people are on a state, like, we have this fight or flight, with hormones and cortisol and adrenaline and all this stuff, and most people are on this, like, they start at a baseline of like 1, going around the world. But borderline start at like a 3, because they have this fear of abandonment, and they have these intense emotions all the time. So they start like a 3. So something might bring a person at a 1 to a 3, would bring a person like you, a person like me, from a 3 to a fucking 5. Right? And then it's the end of the world. So it's not like we're wrong. It's just like, yeah. Now, one thing I want you to know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, is that this does not excuse any of your husband's behaviors. Does not excuse abuse. Narcissistic personality disorder. I have much more experience with that, much more knowledge with that. Okay, well, maybe I haven't explained. This is called borderline. And like I said, this, well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna take a break.